We're here with Andrew.
Hey.
How long has this profile been waiting?
A while.
Yep.
We've done some things.
Yes,
And
so
we're right at the end of BT15 of time of recording, very last day.
This will probably be our last BT15 profile. Andrew's won numerous locals. He's come second in our massive case-winning tournament.
Yep.
Only losing out to Secon, then proceeding to play in. What did you play in the next day?
I think it was an online regional. Did okay with that. I
Did
won
pretty good at
our local Evo Cup with it.
Yep.
And I came top 4 at another Evo Cup for it. We went to Sydney and went and participated in that one. So
So massive results with this list.
we got our mileage out of it.
Let's see it.
Cool. Iggy's just Cinnamon. Draw a card when you discard. When you draw your cards, you find your pieces. Pretty simple.
Draw card good.
For rookies, the only 4 of Leviamon. When you discard a card, gain a memory. This card does that a lot, and it helps you stay on turn. You can kind of do your full combo off 3 memory usually because he's kind of gaining memory back all the time. So you always want to see this in your opening hand if you can.
Let's see the toolbox.
Yep. The only other multiple rookie I've got is the Gabu. I mainly run this at multiples just for the off chance that the Garurumon kind of spits one out for free. Like gaining memory's cool, drawing's cool. It's okay. I could also run it at 0 or 1. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then the rest is all toolbox. So we've got the 1 Gabu X, which we ironically don't actually want to evolve on the Gabumon. We just want to hard play it. Because this deck has, I believe it was somewhere around 12 or 15 targets for it. Because it can add any 2 cards with Garurumon or X antibody in the text, which means all your Dobemon X's, Cerberus X's, Levia X antibodies, huge amounts of targets, and then discarding. Most of the time you're just going to discard a Levia X, so really this is draw 2 and put something good in the bin. Very, very good card. 1 Immon, added this recently. This lets you recycle your Leviamons back to hand and Beelzemon, and it's a target for Beelzemon to resummon if it dies. Rather than running 4 Leviamon, I found it easier to run 3 and then have the option to add them back when need be. Also allows you to add them back for Biting Crush as need be, so Cerberusmon can bring this out heaps of times in a game, so you don't have to be too stingy with your pieces. Pretty much the exact same story for your other half was Leviamon. It's pretty much the same thing, but for your Dark Animals and Shamans. So Anubismons, Dobers, and Cerberuses, whatever you need back, just get Leviamon to get it back. Also gains you some memory, which is cool. The Gearmon, no surprise this, all the lists play it. As soon as you build up some trash, you've just got a rusher for game. You can cheat this out with Cerberusmon if you can, or you can hard play from it. Pretty good either way. And then just the Gazimon. Pretty standard. If it's impactful in the matchup, try and keep it on the board, and if it's not, don't worry about it.
Very nice.
From there, the rest of it gets pretty more uniform. So we've got our best level 4, which would be our Dobemon X. This is your best one because it'll combo with Protoform to go in 2 for 1 and to start gaining you some memory. This is also, if you have got it with Protoform, you can give yourself or something else Retaliation, which comes up from time to time. Sometimes it's easy to trade a 1 memory level 4 that you've gone to with Protoform with, say for example, a suspended 6 or 7. Not only will you kill it with Retaliation, but Protoform will then let you add the 3 that you had under it back. It's just a highly economical, trade-off basically. But to go with that, you've got 4 Garurumons, which do a very similar thing. They both draw 1, trash 1 on evolution. And the Garurumon, look, just for consistency, and so you can run the one of Garu X, because draw 2, trash 2, and gain a memory for free is kind of dumb, and there's a reason the card limited. So, yeah.
Card good. Draw and gain memory. Very good.
Now we've gone harder on the X package on this one, so 4 Cerberus X. Lets you summon your 3s back and just keeps cycling the draw 1, trash 1. But the most important thing it does is it gives you the inheritable for your 6s to pop one of your other dudes and unsuspend. So Levia X, swinging for 3, destroy a 3 you brought back earlier, and then swinging for another 3. Goes through security pretty quick. So you can be very far down or behind in the match, and then sometimes you just take it from them because Crocodile swings for a lot of checks.
Yeah, swing 3, restand, swing 3.
Yeah. I've got 3 Drago. So the reason we run less Drago than Cerberus is kind of your early to mid game card that sets up your trash and puts on that early aggression, and also your finisher with the unsuspension. Drago is you can only really play it as long as your opponent is kind of half set up and helps force the set out. So you can do some cool X antibody plays, as I'm sure everyone's aware. but that's not always available early in the match, and the piercing's not always relevant early. So I like to run few of, by the time I've drawn through my deck, I'll have a few of these by the time it's relevant. But Cerberus X, you kind of want to have that stack really, really early. So still very good, but Cerberus X is usually better.
Fair enough.
Then I'm running the 1 Myotis Ace. You don't really have to run this, but I thought there was some very cute synergies with this. One, the deck really runs next to no blockers, just interruption. So sometimes just having one to drop from a 4 to catch your opponent by surprise, block something, and also bring out a 3 is always pretty cool. There's also, if you have a Nubismon out, you only need to discard 2 cards with the Nubismon to summon this for free, and then this will also then summon a 3 for free. Obviously you run the risk of the overflow, but other than that, yeah, I thought it was a really cool card. The deck doesn't die without it, but I think it's better with it.
Very cool tech.
That's it for the 5s.
Show us the Crocodilian.
We have 3 Crocodilians. I know, very surprising. I did have this at 4 for a long time, but as I said, when I picked up the Impmon and Beals package, I found 3 was more than enough because realistically I can recycle the same Leviamon over and over again.
Yeah, purple.
And my only reason I used to run 4 was I felt like when you Biting Crush, you'd run out of them too quick. But again, now that you can just recycle them, 3's fine. Card's very good. You do have to be strategic about when you evolve this one or not, because the Floodgate of gaining memory is sometimes something you want to hold on to on the board. Just because you can go into Levia X doesn't mean you always should. But yeah, very cool card. Speaking of which, 3 Levia X, only 1 alt art, sadly. I'm not going to over-explain that. He swings for a lot of checks. That's most of your win con. It's nothing spicy. That's just how the deck plays. But it is a very cool interaction when you swing in with normal Croc, check a Tamer, and mid-chain you can basically go into one of these guys, pop that same Tamer, and check an extra check, which is particularly relevant into security control and similar decks. So incredibly strong card. Probably overpowered, to be honest, the fact that you can just do it for free on X Antibody. Nubismon, which we touched on before, it's limited for a reason because the card's dumb. Not only can you get some extremely cheap plays out, for example, ditch 3 cards, summon Dragamon for 1 when you play it. If your opponent doesn't deal with it, then every turn you're getting incredible value, right? Either a 3 for free, or ditching cards to get even more for free, or even just a discount. Even ditching 6 to play a Leviamon for 7, which will then still trigger to pop 2 things if you have the same or more. So yeah, card's limited for a reason. Yeah, you should play it. It's good. Beals X, because I got horrifically scarred by versing Secon and decided I needed to take against it. I thought this was a really cool tech. I realized that only after the fact that a lot of people already ran this in Leviamon, but we don't have too much Secon in our locals, so I didn't really feel the need previously. But this has a huge amount of synergy with the deck, so it is a 7 Demons Lords, 7 Great Demon Lords, so it will let you discard it with Biting Crush and to give it the delay effect. You can add it or Leviamon back with the Impmon, and then that Impmon now serves as further synergy so that if this is deleted, you can summon it back. It's not the biggest deal in the world. But the best use I've found for this is not, obviously, is to trash the security, but in some cases has just been with regular X Antibody, where you swing with the 5 and then get game by trashing the security before it goes through. Same was way that the actual Leviamon decks use it. So yeah, I don't think I'd play the deck without it now. It's really, really good. And then just a Ruin mode, because card's dumb. Look, I don't want to have a big rant, but this is probably a card that should be at 1.
Yeah.
Ruin mode steals games, it's extremely strong.
But you're playing it at 1, man.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, in a deck that draws left, right, and center, it's not hard to see a 1 of.
It's very true.
Yeah, look, that obviously locks out games. The recovery's, decent, but it's always that DP lockout.
The DP.
There's plenty of games I would lose without Ruin mode. You could arguably run 2. I don't think it's really needed, but it's probably a card that should be limited. But hey, I'm not the balance team.
Yeah, put it out with Quartz and Dead X. Yeah. But everyone will just play one of them anyway.
I don't know. Quartz, I think Quartz has already been power crept, to be honest. But
yeah,
here we
it's
are.
a bit dated now.
Options for Wisdom Training. No surprises here. You want to evolve for cheap, you want to find your pieces. Nothing spicy there. It's just a staple.
Yeah.
Card's really, really good. 3 Biting Crush. I was on 4 for a while, I was on 2 for a while. I found 3 to be probably how much I'm comfortable with. Like, it's really something I don't mind paying the 8 for, because when you're getting a 13 cost Levia out afterwards for free, which is going to kill 2 things and gain up to 2 memory more, like, it's actually a very good value card. And obviously it's nice to see it out of security. It just hurts in metas where they have protection, so our upcoming BT15 is probably going to hurt quite a bit, because you've got a lot of armor forms and immunity. So this deck's probably going to take a nosedive next set. But I mean, hey, if someone can bring out a spicy BT16 list, I would love to see it. With our 2 protoforms, we do run a 2-2 ratio, but this is the preferred one. Obviously, you can only really use this with the Leviamon and Cerberus line, but when you do, it's excellent, reducing cost and then allowing you to trigger their extra effects. And then just also just having that recovery, so it's not draw power, but the fact that you get to buff your security, and then rather than looking for a missing piece, you can recycle it from your stack. Extremely good, especially if you have limited cards. Sometimes you can even get the Guru X back, who's limited, but you'll use it 2 to 3 times per game because protoforms allow you to recycle it. You know, there's just some inconsistencies with it, which is things like, you know, you might have Leviamon and you want to just slide an X antibody under there so that you can do something else to trigger its effect, and you can't do that with protoform unless you go straight into a Leviamon, and that kind of defeats the purpose. Levia X, sorry. Speaking of which, 2 normal X antibody. Really, it's just there for Leviamon, probably more than anything, and for occasionally Billsmon. Most of the time, it's protoform as the better option. And then one-ofs, I've got 1 7th Lightning. I hate this card. I think it's actually trash. I mean, I'm probably making a big call here, but I think running it at any more than 1 is terrible. I think it misses the cards you want to destroy a huge amount of the time. Its arguably best use is obviously its free effect from trash. Like, I would never play the cost to play this unless it just happened to be perfect, but just relying on your opponent to have a 4 and a 6 to get good value out of it, it's just, you know, you'll hit it the amount of times I've had it's hitting security and then it's just done nothing to the board. So that's why I prefer 3-1 with the Binding Crush. It's purely there as a good discard target, and of course to do anti-deck out and to get some free pops when you go into Levia X. But at that stage, look, seeing multiples of this does nothing for me. Seeing security does very little for me. I think it's a perfect one-of.
Yeah,
I'd rather run 4 Binding Crush again before running another 7th Lightning. And then last card, just 1 more purple memory. 1 purple memory boost. It just seemed to make sense to have 5 consistency cards. You could argue that you could drop something else and run even more purple memory boosts. But I think it's fine. You know, if I could run 6 trainings, I would.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the fact that it can't grab options hurts. And sometimes digging deeper weirdly can hurt you. So if you list up 4, for example, and you see 2x antibody, for example, and then a purple Digimon and a purple option, there's only 1 actual option and there's 4 things that are further to the bottom. That's what I love with training, is at least if you hit that, you're not putting as many resources to the bottom. But it's still good. You could also just not run it.
True.
But yeah, that's my build.
Well, big thank for the profile. Keen to see where you cook up with Imperial in BT16.
Sure, we'll have a profile soon.
Oh yeah.
Cheers.